Speedway Pulse Media is partnered with Paley Motorsports.
That's right. We're an official marketing agency of Sam Paley and Paley Motorsports. If you are interested in getting on a very fast race car for either him, Ryan Persing, or Chris Clark later on in the year, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll get you in touch with Sam or whoever needs whoever the right person is for you to be in touch with. And why wait? Reach Minister Motorsports with Paley Motorsports.
No better time than to join with Watkins Glen coming up next week.
That's right. And like you say, obviously, new newly announced. Obviously, we kind of already covered it, but we'll go ahead and hit the back spot again. Uh, Ryan Persing's full season, huge for the kid at such a young age. I'm very
Yeah.
proud of him to be able to start off his racing career so, I guess you could say, so quickly
Yeah, he
and
really
get straight
jumped up.
into GT racing after only a couple of years. Actually, I believe it was only 1 year of a Radical Cup, and
Hmm.
so rookie year went from Radical Cup and went straight to Ford Mustang Challenge. Not even Mustang Cup and USAC. We're straight in the challenge, partnered up with IMSA. So Ryan's doing great. Obviously, we had him on the show recently. So like you
Be on the
say,
lookout.
well, this video will be up after. But like you say, if you haven't already watched that video, go back and watch it. It's a great interview. I've already seen it personally myself. But I guess you could say it's a little something. We're staying in the same family, if you will, today. As our past couple of interviews. Episode 45, very big emphasis on the 45. This
Very
might be
appropriate
a
number.
yes, it very was a good number. We'll say he drives a 45 car. It's the one and only Graham Doyle coming on the show with us. We've already interviewed one of his co-drivers, Danny Formal, and a few of his teammates that we've interviewed would be Nick Persing and Al Maury.
Al Maury,
So, like you
top class
say,
guys.
right. And obviously, Graham's already driving the GT3. I kind of spoke with Nick last week. Nick said, I like the Super Trofeo series, so he might want to stick with that. But Graham's already one step up the ladder, I guess you could say, in the GT3 car. But I don't really think that Nick holds that against him or anybody holds it against
No,
anyone at that office based off the way Nick and Al both have talked about the shop in itself. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey,
hey
Graham,
Graham,
how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Yeah, sorry guys. I this test literally came up last night, so I'm currently in Watkins Glen using my phone.
Oh, how
No, you're
about
good.
that?
We'll go ahead and get it started. What really got your start into racing?
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like I'm pretty the atypical story. Got a go-kart when I was like 5 years old from my dad on Christmas morning. Probably the worst day of my mom's life and the best day of my dad's because he was pretty excited to get into racing for me. And I think my mom from day one was panicking, seeing how fast I wanted to go in the go kart. And then from there, just it stemmed further. And the love of motorsports has always been a thing. I'm fortunate enough to be around a family that's been involved in through ownership, sponsorship, just been around racing since before I could walk. So through that experience, through that exposure with go karting stuff like that, I just fell in love with the sport. And then I really credit sim racing with a lot of what I did, especially during COVID. I was able to spend, well, like everybody, all my time at home. So I was sim racing every day, and I think after COVID sort of started to lift, I was like, I really want to take this more seriously, and then that's when I started to really pursue it.
Awesome. That's really cool. Me and Jordan racers. He was on the dirt side. I did the road course side over here.
Yeah,
But
sure.
talk about what it was like getting that jump from, the cart into the cars and, that move into Super Trofeo, your first year Super Trofeo.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, also strange. My story is pretty not normal, I would say. So I never professionally go karted, never raced in any big races with go karts. Did things here and there, but nothing on the real professional scale that you see majority of drivers doing. And when I was 15 years old, I was given the opportunity by Wayne Taylor Racing, who I'm fortunate enough to still be racing for, to come out and test a Super Trofeo at Putnam Park in Indianapolis. And I mean, probably the greatest day of my life, I would say. I'm 15 years old. I get to drive a Lamborghini. I can't even drive a car on the road by myself yet, but able to get into that car. And then I was able to get to work, started going for my racing license, working on that, working with the team as a development driver. And that really set me up about a year there. I did it in just testing with the team, being around the team, going to racetracks, learning all I could. And then by the time I started racing in 2023 professionally for them, I already had this great backing behind me, an idea in my mind what I needed to do. So those pieces were already put together. Now it was time to just focus on myself and development as a race car driver.
Right, and obviously, like you
Awesome.
say, coming from the sim world of everything, kind of that William Byron kind of style, I guess you could say, adapting from the sim race and getting into an actual car.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sim racing has taught me more than anything probably in my entire life, including school. I feel like just the ability to constantly be doing laps and laps and laps and learning from your mistakes in a I wouldn't say a completely open environment, but I mean, there's a lot less pressure in a sim versus real life. And just to build confidence in yourself and what your abilities are in a simulator, I mean, it translates to real life. I always tell everybody my simulator's 95% there. I show up to a place I've never been before. I already know where all the corners are. I know where all the apexes are. I know where my brake zones are going to be. I have an idea for setup. And then I don't have to waste time doing that. I can focus on just myself driving, getting that last little bit out of it, and then I can be competitive. And I really do credit that with my ability to show up at a track and be competitive week in and week out.
Being a part of WTR, you've got some really great people alongside of you that can help boost your career. But talk about someone that's really been a huge part of your career, and a good friend of ours is Danny Formal. He's been a big part of your career and talked a lot about you. But kind of tell us what he's meant to your career and help bolster your career to where it is now.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, he's probably the best one to start with and absolutely the best one to talk about. I mean, Danny's probably one of my best friends, I will say. Danny is like a brother to me. He's like an older brother. I definitely know he views me as his younger brother, which is funny. We're basically we always laugh at the racetrack. I'm like, we look at each other and we're like the same person. And I mean, I can give you one today. I mean, we're out here testing and he was in the car. He gets out, I get in. And as soon as I got out of the car, we both talked to the engineers separately and had the exact same feedback. And I looked at Danny and said what I thought. He told me what he thought. It was exactly the same. And it's like a big high five and bro hug. Like we're thinking the same thing per usual. But yeah, I mean, I met Danny for the first time at Daytona in 2023. He was running in the Racer's Edge Acura. And I was there with Wayne Taylor because I was going into my first racing season and they had invited me to be out there and just experience that event. So I met Danny briefly there. Immediately knew we were going to get along perfectly. Was looking forward to meeting, working more with him. And then when I showed up to Laguna Seca that May, being my first race, it was like old friends coming back together. I mean, Danny and I immediately clicked. He immediately was helping me. He wanted to see me succeed, I think, more than himself at first, which is unbelievable. You don't see that in many people. And I mean, since that, we've been inseparable. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have worked with Danny since 2024 in the exact same car in GTD. This is our third season together in that. And then going on my fourth year in Super Trofeo here, being able to share that car with Danny now and really grow with him, being in the same car, him being able to coach me more closely that way. I can tell him what I'm thinking. He tells me what he's thinking in the exact same car. It's just unbelievable. I mean, I can't credit Danny enough with the successes I've found. I mean, he's truly the reason that I feel like I keep growing in this sport and getting new opportunities.
Right, and obviously, like you say, being able to have such a great asset is definitely huge coming into a racing world or coming into any car that you drive. But kind of talk about how carrying that mentorship from Danny. Talk about what last year really meant to you winning Super Trofeo US Championship.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I mean I'll kind of give you the whole thing here. So 2023, like I've said a few times, was my first season. I kind of went in like anybody. I didn't have any expectations of what was going to happen. I knew I was with the best team. I knew I had Danny in my corner, which is a huge asset. And I didn't really know how it was going to go. It was one of those things like I remember talking with my dad and everything and my parents and my family and just being like, we're just going to see how this goes and see if we can keep doing it. And I was fortunate enough to find success quite fast. I think in my second race weekend, I got my first podium with Wayne Taylor. Following weekend, I got my first win, and I think I ended the season pretty much almost there. I think I finished like 3 points behind the leader in our championship in my first season, 5 wins. So it was just one of those times. Like I looked back on the season, and a lot of that reason I hadn't won was simple mistakes I made just being new. So that I think drove me to 2024, and I mentally came into 2020 very ready to win a championship. I thought I had what it took, but like a lot of things in racing, it can quickly go from good to bad. 2024 was one of those definite years where it was a learning curve, I will say. I think the entire year I had one podium. I think I finished second actually here at Watkins Glen. And that was it. And I credit that honestly more than anything with the reason last year was so big for me and such a great year was I came out of 2024 looking back and I was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's me. I don't know what it was, but your confidence is at an all-time low. And in racing, it's all about confidence. When you win, you see people when they win, they just keep winning because their confidence is so high. So I came into 2025 and my mind definitely wasn't in the best spot. But Danny, always in my ring, my family, always in my ring. They kept pushing me, supporting me. They knew I could do it. I had shown everybody I could the previous year. So we came to Daytona 2025. I like to tell everybody we had a car that would have been on the podium. I truly, in my heart, believe we would have won. We had a mechanical with about 40 minutes to go. We were running second, and we were the best car. So I think that was the stem of 2025. Like, okay, I'm back. I can do this. We can go race. And then, I mean, just amazing working with Glenn McGee last year. He's now a three-time in a row champion in AM and Super Trofeo. Great guy, amazing coach in that sense. So it was awesome working with him. And then, of course, winning the championship just meant a lot to me. I think that's what has now propelled me to this year's confidence level and how I'm feeling in the car, my ability to set up a car and feel it out. And I feel like that's been obvious this year. We've won all four of the races so far in Super Trofeo. We've been in the fight overall, even though we're in Pro Am. We've been in the fight overall. I think Laguna Seca, we finished second overall. Sebring, we finished third overall both days. So, I mean, we're there. And now I'm there. I feel great. I have Danny in my car. He feels great. And it's just a continuous build, build, build to get better and better every weekend.
Obviously, coming in, you've been just like said, fantastic year so far. Just keep building. Do you feel that we're coming up to Watkins Glen next week? You're there testing. That do you feel that y'all have the car what it takes to keep this momentum up and really fight for the championship when it comes down to it at Monza at the end of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I mean, your eyes always have to be on a championship. And I feel like that's something I've learned my time in this. You can't always go for the race win as nice as it is. Sometimes you have to focus on a championship. But I mean, here at Wayne Taylor, I feel like you can kind of do both, which is not every team can say that. But I mean, we show up to every weekend with the best cars. These guys work night and day, unload the best car that can go out and win. And I will say, I mean, we've been out here today. This has been our first day here today. We're out here as well tomorrow. It's been great so far. Car feels really good. Danny and I have both been meshing with the car really well. We're making tweaks here and there, of course, like any driver would. But Danny's actually out on track right now. We just made a pretty decent change to the car to test a few things out. And I mean, I think I feel in my heart that we can go out and win. I think Danny does the same. Of course, we have the best machine, like I've said. So I mean, I think it's all going to go out on track. But I feel pretty confident going into this weekend for sure.
Right,
Cool,
and like you
cool.
say, obviously, with you being at the track, we don't want to hold up too much of your time.
No, you're
But
good.
kind of, what's the plan here? I guess you kind of say, well, better yet, let me backtrack. You just recently announced that you're going to be running the truck at Tricon, with Lime Rock coming up. How do you kind of mentally prepare for swapping over to something? I guess you can kind of say is a completely different driving style vehicle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're right saying it's completely different driving vehicle. I mean, it's a completely different beast. So I can relate it and I can't relate it to certain things. But I will say the ability to switch between cars has been getting better and better with me, especially as strange as it may sound. I drive the Super Trofeo, which is a Lamborghini, and I drive the GT3 car as a Lamborghini. Those cars couldn't be anywhere close to each other. I mean, they're so different and I'm doing a lot of times double duty on weekends. So I'm getting out of the Super Trofeo into the GTD in the next half hour or so and having to go back and forth. So I feel like that has truly set me up to be able to be ready to get into something else and immediately try to get up to pace or at least run with the field. And I mean, fortunate, like I've been saying, I've given Wayne Taylor enough credit, but they're the best team here. I'm going to Tricon in NASCAR trucks, which I think their reputation speaks for themselves. I mean, they put together an unbelievable product. They unload every weekend with the best trucks on the grid. And I mean, it shows. They won the championship last year in dominant fashion. Corey Heim has won countless races this year. I think he's won like 4 or 5 races this year. They've won a few other races this year with their other drivers. I mean, it's just an unbelievably put together program. And that's the thing. Like it really comes down, yes, of course, it comes down to me and my driving. But at the end of the day, the guys that win or lose a race for us are the crew members, and they're often winning it for us because the truck in that case or the cars here are unloading and ready to rock and roll and ready to go win a race.
Can you kind of give a little insight on how this deal kind of came together, if possible?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that'll all start with my manager and kind of the person who actually got me into racing or has been around my racing for the longest is a NASCAR driver named Jeff Burton.
Okay.
taking me under his wing. I mean, unbelievable driver, unbelievable person, unbelievable family. His son Harrison has also offered me so much help. So I owe him the world, to be honest with you. But it all kind of started with I'm from Clearwater, Florida, right outside of Tampa, and the trucks
Okay.
this year raced in St. Pete for the first time, and that's my home race for IndyCar. So that's like one of the first races I went to. I mean, there's a bunch of pictures of me as a baby there with my parents. So it's kind of where I fell in love with racing in person, seeing it in person. And every year that was a big thing for a dad and I to go. So this year when the trucks came, I remember just thinking to myself, I can't wait to see how this goes. I was fortunate Jeff was down there for that weekend because he had the same idea as me, wanted to see, and met the right people. I was even able to meet a lot of the people over at Tricon, meet a lot of the people over at Toyota, and just talking about where I wanted to see myself in the next 5 to 8 years, my thoughts, my ideas. Just kind of gave them some spitball ideas of what I thought the trucks should do on a road course. I was asking them because I was truly interested. They were asking me because, from a road course perspective, it's new in a truck. It's not something they do all the time. I'm doing it every weekend. So fortunate enough to meet everybody in St. Pete, and we went our separate ways at the end of the weekend. And then about 3 weeks later, I got the call to go up to Charlotte. Was able to meet with everybody at the Tricon shop, really talk through my ideas, what I would like to see myself doing, and then kind of piece everything together from there. Was able to do a few things for them so they could see what I could at least do, give them ideas, try some stuff on the sim up there, which was unbelievable, and pieced it together from there. And I was able to fortunately get the Lime Rock ride, which is amazing, and get my feet wet, I guess, in the truck series on a road course, which is great for me because that's what I come from. I'm not starting out on an oval where I'd be a bit lost as to figuring that out. It would take me a bit longer.
That's really cool there. That's really neat how it worked out. Would there be any testing ahead of time? I know they're real strict on the testing, but we get at least few laps in the truck to kind of get acquainted with it before Lime Rock.
Yeah, absolutely. I am fortunate as a true rookie to a NASCAR, any NASCAR series. I am allocated a test, so I'm going to be doing a
Okay,
test at Sebring in the truck, which is great. I mean, it's a
cool.
track I know very well. It's about an hour and a half from my home. I've probably done 10,000 laps there, so I know that place great, which is going to be awesome in the truck. It's similar to Lime Rock in a few ways, and it's a road course just to kind of get used to that. That's going to be right after Watkins Glen, so about 2 weeks before the Lime Rock race, which would be great. I've done a bunch of time. I've been fortunate enough to be in the Toyota TRD sim, working there, which has been amazing. To just kind of get my feel, get a lot of data, work with the engineers, see what they see there, and then translate it to real life, which their sim is unbelievable. So it's pretty easy to translate to real life. And then also doing stuff like pro late model and legends cars. I've been in a legends car now basically every week since the beginning of May, just running ovals, road courses in those cars, just as something that's closer to the truck than what I'm doing.
Yeah, cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool there. I know that's a night and day kind of night and day thing, trying to, change, get used to an oval and a Legends car though.
Yeah, it was one of those things, those moments where the first time I got into that car, I showed up at the racetrack. It was Caraway in Charlotte, or right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, Caraway Speedway, and I showed up and did the track walk, and I was just kind of in awe because I had never done anything like that. I mean, the closest thing I've done to an oval is the 24 Hours of Daytona, where you run kind of an oval, not really even anything. You just kind of run in the banks. And I walked around that track and I was like, this is going to be something I've never experienced, totally different than anything I've ever done. And just, I mean, as you can see now, I'm smiling right now just thinking about it. I mean, it's just so much fun. Anything new is so much fun, and I love new experiences. I love the ability to work with new teams, work with great people like everybody at Toyota, everybody at Tricon. It's so exciting to work with people and be able to test and keep getting better and seeing improvements so week after week. And that's kind of the thing for me. I mean, I'm so new to this oval racing idea or just stock car NASCAR, the entire ladder system, that the ability to be in a Legends car all the time or be in a pro late model car all the time is just going to constantly help me get better, not only in the truck series, but I mean, it translates to everything. Driving is driving at the end of the day. So it's translating here. I mean, I've already noticed stuff today that I'm picking up quickly here that I'm going to probably credit to the ability that I'm driving basically 2, 3 days a week, every single week.
Right. And like you say, obviously, you kind of already said that you mentioned some of it with Tricon, but this will be our last question for you. What kind of is the 5 to 8 year plan for you in your career?
Ah, man. I mean, that's all gonna end. That's all gonna have to come out with time. I feel like I don't want to give up all my secrets yet, but I mean, hey, what I'm doing now, I'm pretty happy with. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens for next year and the years that follow that. But I mean, in my mind, my plan is I love IMSA. I don't want to leave IMSA. This series has been very good to me. This team has been very good to me. So very happy where I am now. Love running the endurance events that they put on. It's just those are unbelievable. 24 hours a Daytona, 12 hours of Sebring, all the ones that follow are just unbelievable events. So I'm not ready to leave those yet. Fortunate enough, those don't really land on NASCAR weekends most of the time, or at least truck weekends. So I'll just put it at that. But pretty exciting to look at next year and the years that follow that, and just start to make a 5 year plan for myself. And we'll just have to wait and see where I end up.
That's awesome there. Graham, I think you got a really bright future ahead of you. And thanks for taking 20 minutes or so here at the track. I know testing kind of came up last minute, but we'll be at Petit Le Mans and we'll definitely catch up then.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I really look forward to it. I really appreciate you guys having me on here today, and I look forward to catching up with you guys soon at a racetrack.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
sounds
We
good.
appreciate it, Graham.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
You
See ya.
too.